What's going on, guys? Bexio, and today we're going to be talking about Terra Luna yet again because it just keeps on moving forward. The stories keep coming, and you know Terra Luna, that thing that collapsed that caused people to lose life savings and just had billions of dollars evaporate into nothingness. Well, apparently Anonymous is now going after Kwon, and they put out a whole video about it and everything, basically saying they're going to hold him accountable. And Kwon has been a pretty shady person in crypto. He had other projects he was involved in other under pseudonyms where he also ended up collapsing the project. So, Luna is just his biggest one, and where he, I guess, made the mistake of using his real name, which is pretty, dumb because he's known better in the past, but then went off and did this with his real name. So, right here, you can see Anonymous pledged to uncover all of Do Kwon's alleged crimes relating to the fall of Terra, UST, Luna, and the billions of dollars of retail investor money lost. So, sounds good. Sounds like a good step forward. I mean, there's nothing anyone can do to get the money back, which is the tragic part. Really sucks because there's no way to get the money back. It's gone. It's evaporated. And even his Luna 2.0, that thing started and has just been downward, down and to the right the entire time. So nothing really coming of Luna 2.0, nothing coming from Luna 1.0. Maybe Luna 3.0 will be able to bring everything back, but you can see the big things for Do Kwon here. Big, massive thing is his cashing out $80 million each month from Luna and Terra prior to its collapse. I think he was cashing out like for 6 months or something, $80 million a month every month. Obviously, that pulls liquidity out of the tokens, and without liquidity, you get the depegging event that happened and the collapse of Luna and Terra side by side, both of them going to zero. We all watched it happen in real time. Crazy. And him cashing out 80 million definitely didn't help. And also, this is one of his other scams, other collapse projects. He had a role in the fall of Basis Cash, for which Do Kwon allegedly co-created under the pseudonym Rick Sanchez in late 2020. So Luna, not his first attempt at this, just his worst one, because he went completely public and showed his face, showed his name, went after people, called people poor, threw all the insults out and tried to act better than everyone. And then it collapsed and went to zero. So he, just not a good look for him, not a good look for anything. And obviously, if he was scamming, he was smart enough in his first scam not to use his real name. But in this one, uses, I guess, his real name. I don't know if Do Kwon's his real name, but he showed his face. He went on and did all his publication things, felt fun, got a lot of attention. And now, there's consequences of that when everything goes to zero. So this is the Anonymous video that they put out as a message to Do Kwon. You can see that's the title of it. You can't actually see, but it says an anonymous message to Do Kwon. And we can see exactly what they're kind of talking about, what Anonymous is all about, what kind of news they got, and how they're going to go after Do Kwon.
Greetings, citizens of the world. This is a message from Anonymous for Do Kwon.
So,
the
standard
past
message.
Several months have been bad for crypto and the economy as a whole. We were likely going to experience some pain in the crypto industry because of the macro environment, regardless of what was happening internally.
So, for that itself is a big thing. Like the fall and collapse of crypto, especially crypto like Bitcoin, Ethereum, the big guys, they're affected from this because of the collapse of Luna and Terra, the fall and the going to zero of those things that were supposed to be stablecoin, and the Anchor protocol. All of that is contagion. Every platform, lending platform, an interest-bearing thing, like things like Voyager, BlockFi, we've talked about, Celsius, all of these things had connections to Anchor, had connections to try and get that APY so that they could pay out their interest to customers. And that collapsed, meaning they lost all of that money. So if they had, used customer funds, and they say you deposited a Bitcoin in Voyager, just say, and they put that money into Anchor to give you the return, that means you lost your Bitcoin. On paper, you can still have it in the account, but Voyager doesn't have it to give to you. That's where these big problems come in.
We were also due for another bear market this year, but the actions of Do Kwon, the founder of the Terra Luna ecosystem, is single-handedly responsible for scamming billions of dollars away from retail investors. Kwon made a name for himself with his arrogant tactics, trolling competitors, critics, and acting like he would never fail. In fact, he said that he found it entertaining to watch other projects fail.
I wonder how many of these companies you think are entering the space just because it's hot and there's a lot of funding versus the ones that will still be here, you know, like 2 to 5 years later.
95% are gonna die.
Yeah.
95% are going to die. Yeah. Yeah, there's also entertainment in watching companies die too.
There's entertainment. Oh man, that's so evil. At least you get.
That's kind of crazy, right? That he said that and then his project failed, and you know, it's like, is it entertaining when your project fails? It's kind of weird. But definitely some truth there. There is a ton and ton and ton of scam artists that came in crypto. Every single bull cycle, scammers come in because they can make quick and easy money, trick people, do whatever they got to do. It sucks that it happens, and you know, people just, I guess, got to be careful with what they do. But so what he says is kind of true. Like 95% are going to die, 99% of cryptos are going to die. But you know, saying there's entertainment in it is kind of asking for that karma to come get you.
Get to learn from it, right?
On one occasion, he called a journalist poor for asking him difficult questions. However, he was quickly knocked down by the
You love
markets.
calling people poor.
The louder they are, the harder they tend to fall. News has now come to light that he was cashing out over $80 million each month as Luna was successful. Kwon denied these accusations in a roundabout way, but not
Ripping
exactly.
liquidity out.
In a recent Twitter post, Kwon denied cashing out $2.7 billion, but that doesn't account for the $80 million each month that he was apparently taking. He claims that he lost most of his money along with everyone else in the market.
This too. So good point for them. He says, I didn't do the 2.7 billion that people were saying, because that's a big number. People are obviously going to stick to that, but didn't really say anything about the, you know, 80 million a month apparently that he was taking. So probably more truth to that. But up here too, it says, you know, Doe's wallets are all doxed and oh my God, he owns this stuff. Just because you reveal some of your wallets doesn't mean all of your wallets are out there. You can create other ones and have coins there that you're selling. So just because you dox wallets doesn't mean that you're super transparent and such a good guy. You really can't be sure if someone's showing you their wallet, if someone's showing you their only wallets and they have some on the sideline. It's kind of mixy there, but not good looks from Kwon. He usually doesn't make himself look great.
The information that he was taking millions from the protocol each month comes from testimony of Terra Labs employees during interviews with the SEC. As a result, Kwon is being investigated for money laundering, in addition to the other accusations against him of malice and fraud. Sometimes people just make mistakes, and sometimes businesses fail, but there is significant evidence that Kwon had bad intentions from the start.
It's a cycle of life. You begin from nothing and
Yeah,
go
this
back to
was
nothing. And that's
ridiculous
exactly what I
interview.
mean. So I think Terra is going to be the decentralized money standard across the entire blockchain, across all the blockchains. And I'm excited for Terraform Labs to contribute a significant portion of that early vision, but eventually to go back to nothing.
Before launching Terra Luna,
In that interview too, they don't show it in this clip. I guess they're taking small clips, but he literally described what happened to Luna and how it collapsed. He's out there saying that there was a kill switch for Luna where it hyperinflates and goes to zero. He literally said that in that interview, and that's exactly what happened to Luna. It hyperinflated and went to zero. So even more questions raised there. Was people say it was attacked from Citadel, and those are like not happening. But even if it was a depegging event and all this stuff and just market forces, you still have that question of, did he hit that kill switch for whatever reason? Did he pull out his money, pull out big name investors and big guys' money that was in there too, and then just hit the kill switch because the depeg happened? Or like, did it fall for market forces?
Kwon worked for another failed stablecoin called Basis Cash.
Yeah,
that
and this
project
is
failed due to regulatory concerns
first
and investors
failure.
lost money, but he was never held accountable because he was working under the anonymous name Rick Sanchez, taken from the popular cartoon Rick and Morty. It is obvious to us that Kwon has plenty of secrets and he has been very sloppy in his execution. Multiple governments are conducting their own investigations into the scammer, but so are we. Anonymous is looking into Do Kwon's entire history since he entered the crypto space, to see what we can learn and bring to light. There is no doubt that there are many more crimes to be discovered in your trail of destruction.
What else did he have a pseudonym in?
Do Kwon, if you are listening. Sadly, there is nothing that can be done to reverse the damage that you have done. At this point, the only thing that we can do is hold you accountable and make sure that you are brought to justice as soon as possible. We are Anonymous. We are Legion. Expect us.
All right, so just a big thing, like, good video, good thing to say, you know, go after this guy. I think he is probably in part, you know, had a part to do with the collapse of Luna and the stablecoin whole thing. Algo stablecoins have never worked, and, you know, trying to bring out things that he's done and make sure if you can prove that he is a scammer, prove that he did things wrong. Would love to see it. It's a big thing to see. But the big question here is going to be, is Anonymous even a real thing anymore? Because we've been seeing time and time and time again, Anonymous talk a big game. They make their tweets, they put out the things, they get the attention they want. But I mean, really nothing comes from it. They don't put things out. Is Anonymous the real Anonymous that was a thing a long time ago? Is it really still a thing now, or is it just an attention-seeking type thing? I mean, no one will know. I guess if they can dig up things and we see them come to a result and pull things out on Do Kwon and prove that he had something to do with this and prove that he had maybe other projects that he scammed people, it would be great. But until that happens, I mean, it's just talk. And it always seems like that with Anonymous recently, even the last few years, that the majority of what they do is just talk. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully, bringing out information on Do Kwon would be a good thing. Seeing if he actually had a part in the scam and if he pulled money out, that would be a huge reveal and just kind of bring justice to him as it should be. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. As always, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe when you're to 1,000 subscribers. I'll see you guys in my next video.